Hey YouTube family, I hope you're well. In today's practice, we'll build strength in the entire body and move through some optional crow pose variations. As always, I encourage you to honor where your body's at today and make sure that you skip any arm balances or modify poses that you need. And remember that child's pose is always available if that's calling you today. I hope you enjoy the flow, and we'll be getting started on our back bodies. See you there. Make your way onto your back body, settling in on your mat, and find a space of grounding before we move through our asana practice today. I invite you to tune into your breath and notice your inhales and your exhales. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe connecting with your ujjayi breath. When you're ready for some movement, which may not be yet, I invite you to wiggle into fingertips and toes until the movements into the limbs, the arms and the legs, and eventually use strength of the core to draw knees in towards your chest. Clasp the knees with the hands and let's circle out the hips, drawing big circles with the knees. And switch directions, mobilizing hip joint. And preparing for more movement today. Eventually finding stillness. We'll start by lighting up the core with some crow crunches. So draw palms towards sky and point into toes. And take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, draw knees towards triceps and hold. Inhale, release. And exhale, knees come into triceps, upper body's lifted off the floor. Inhale, release. And exhale, draw knees into triceps, upper body's lifted. And release. 2 more times. Exhale, knees come into triceps. Inhale, let it go. Last one. Exhale, knees into triceps, and hold. Inhale, release. Release arms back to mat, and we'll rock up towards a tabletop shape. So starting with a smaller movement, rocking and rolling up the spine, and eventually crossing over ankles, making your way towards a tabletop shape. Wrists ground under shoulders and knees ground under hips. We'll start with some cat-cows. Inhale, melt heart towards floor. Head and tailbone reach for sky. And exhale, round through back body. Head and tailbone tuck towards the floor. Inhale, melt the heart towards floor. And exhale, round through the back body. Inhale, melt heart towards floor. And exhale, round through the back body. Inhale, melts heart towards floor. And exhale, round through back body. Eventually find a neutral spine We'll take some wrist circles in a clockwise direction, warming up the wrists before we put any load on them today. And switch directions, moving counterclockwise, or whichever way you haven't moved yet. And eventually coming to a neutral spine, we'll take one more wrist stretch, so flip the hands so that fingertips are pointed towards your body. And you can hang out here if this is a deep stretch, or gently move backwards, remembering that you should never feel pain in this stretch, so backing off if you do. And shift back forwards and release hands back into the regular tabletop shape. And we'll move through some sun salutations to warm up before our main sequence today. So I invite you to tuck onto toes and drive hips towards sky, finding a downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, bending into one knee and then the other, taking any movement that feels good in this shape. Eventually finding stillness in your down dog. Inhale, come up onto toes, bend into knees. And exhale, slowly walk one foot at a time towards top of the mat. Allowing this movement to feel great in the body. And eventually coming to standing at the top of your mat in a forward fold. Maybe clasp opposite elbows with hands and allow head to hang heavy. Release hands. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Hands come to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Finding mountain pose, arms extend high overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands meet shins, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant into hands and find a plank pose. Feet make their way to the back of the mat. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, bend into elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, peel the heart through, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, down dog. One more like that with any modifications you need. Inhale, come up onto toes, bend into knees, hop, step, walk, jump. Feet find top of the mat in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, hands come to shins. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Arms extend high overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, folding over the thighs. Finding a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, option to take crow pose or make your way through your regular vinyasa if this is too early. Bringing knees to back of triceps. Maybe finding some flight. Hopping back one leg at a time or both. Making your way through chaturanga and upward facing dog. Eventually rolling over the toes towards down dog. We'll take one more sun salutation before moving into our main sequence for today. Take a deep inhale, come up onto toes, bend into knees, and make your way to the top of the mat into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, hands come to shins, and exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Arms extend high overhead. Exhale, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, make your way either to plank or a crow pose, eventually finding your chaturanga, and we'll meet in a down dog. So we'll make our way through our main sequence twice. The first time maybe moving a bit slower, and second time, 1 breath per movement. So take a deep inhale and exhale to clear out the body before we begin. Finding a deep inhale through the nose, and exhale, let it go. Let your next inhale sweep right toes high towards sky, and exhale, right knee into right elbow. Inhale, right toes sweep high. Exhale, right knee into nose. Inhale, right toes high. Exhale, right knee comes to left elbow. Inhale, sweep right toes high. Exhale, right knee into right elbow, and step foot outside of right hand, finding lizard lunge. And settle in here, finding a stretch in the left side of the body. And take a deep inhale, and exhale, let it go. Making our way towards a side plank on the left side. So rolling onto left toes, side of the left foot, and 1 big movement or many little ones to bring right foot to stack on top of left, and right arm extends high towards sky. We'll move back towards a twisted lunge. So drawing right foot off of the left and stepping it, 1 big step or many little ones, towards a twisted lunge. Right foot in the middle of the mat. From here, we'll make our way towards a twisted chair. So pressing off the left toes to bring them beside the right. And draw left elbow to meet right knee. Sinking hips back towards the ground. Option to hang out here and build strength, or find a side crow on the right side. Bringing hands to side of mat. And maybe lifting feet from the floor. When you're ready, return feet back towards mat and move back into your twisted chair. We'll move back into our twisted lunge, maybe lifting left toes from mat and finding strength in the right leg. Draw left foot towards back of mat and twist. Release, twist, and pivot upper body and right foot off to the left side of the mat, finding a wide-legged forward fold. And taking a moment to catch your breath. Move towards scandasana at the back of the mat, bending into left knee and straightening through right leg. With the help of the hands or without, moving towards scandasana on the other side of your mat, bending into right knee and straightening through left leg. And one more time, shifting towards scandasana at the back of the mat, using help of the hands or not. Right leg straight and left knee is bent. And we'll find a twisted lunge at the back of the mat. Plant into right hand and extend left hand high towards sky. Option to stay here or drop the hips, finding horizon pose. Left arm extends towards back of mat. Shift back towards your twisted lunge and make your way into pyramid pose. Left leg comes to straight. Maybe left toes lift from mat. Ground back into left foot if the toes have lifted. Shift weight into left foot and press off the back right foot, drawing it beside the left at the top of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Arms extend high overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Hands come to shins. Exhale, plant hands. Option to take crow pose or your vinyasa. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. If you're finding crow pose, knees come to back of triceps. And shift your weight forward, balancing on the hands. Maybe hopping back into chaturanga, feeling the heart through for upward facing dog, and rolling over the toes, down dog. And we're now facing the back of our mat, and we'll do the left side. Inhale, sweep left toes high towards sky. Exhale, bring left knee into left elbow. Inhale, sweep left toes high. Exhale, draw left knee into nose. Inhale, sweep left toes high. And exhale, left knee into right elbow. Inhale, sweep left toes high. And exhale, left knee into left elbow. Plant left foot outside of left hand, lizard lunge. And again, settle in. Maybe feeling a stretch on the right side of body. And pressing into the right glute, driving the glutes towards sky. Make our way towards side plank on the right side. Shift onto outside of right foot. And one big step, or many little ones, stack left foot on top of right. Extend left arm towards sky. And again, one big step, or many little ones. Bring left foot back towards top of mat for twisted lunge. Left arm stays extended towards sky. We'll find our twisted chair on the left side this time. Press off right toes and bring them beside left. Right elbow comes to outside of left knee and twist towards your left side. Maybe sink hips back towards mat and draw right knee back in space if it's shifted forwards. Option to stay here and build strength, or take a side crow. Hands come to plant off the left side of the mat. Bend into elbows and bring left hip to left elbow and knees stack on top of right elbow. Maybe finding some balance with the legs off the mat. Return legs to mat if they've lifted and find your twisted chair. We'll move back towards our twisted lunge. Play with lifting right toes from mat and extend them long behind you. Bending into left knee and keeping that right elbow on the left knee. Unwind the twist, shift body towards the right side of your mat and fold for a wide-legged forward fold. And connecting with your breath if you've lost it. We'll make our way towards scandasana on the right side, bending into right knee, straighten through left leg. And with the help of the hands or without, shifting towards the back of your mat, bending into left knee and straightening through right leg. And one more time, coming back towards top of the mat, bending into right knee and straightening out through left leg. And we'll twist back towards the top of our mat, plant into left hand and pivot open towards a twisted lunge. Right arm extends high towards sky. Option to stay here or drop hips towards mat, extending right arm behind you for horizon pose. And shift back towards the top of your mat. Straighten through right leg for pyramid, maybe lifting right toes from mat and shortening your stance if you need. Plant into right toes if they've lifted and press off left foot to come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Arms extend high overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands come to shins, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant into hands, your vinyasa, make your way through crow or plank, and we'll meet in downward dog. Check in with the body before we move through the sequence again. Remembering that child's pose is there if you need a rest. If you're ready to move a little bit faster, let's inhale and sweep right toes high. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, right toes high. Exhale, right knee into nose. Inhale, sweep right toes high. Exhale, right knee into left elbow. Inhale, sweep right toes high. Exhale, right knee into right elbow. And step right foot outside of right hand, lizard lunge. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, we'll make our way towards side plank. One big step or many little ones. Stacks right foot on top of left. Right arm extends high towards sky. Find your inhale. And on your exhale, we'll move back towards a twisted lunge. Right foot plants at top of mat. Keeping right arm extended towards sky. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, press off left toes, coming into twisted chair at the top of your mat. Left elbow comes to right knee, and sit the hips back. Option to hang out here, or move towards side crow, planting hands off to right side of mat. Maybe bringing right hip to right elbow, and knees to left elbow. And lifting feet from mat. Return feet to mat if they've left. Make your way back into a twisted chair. On your next exhale, lift left toes from mat and extend left leg towards back of mat. Twisted lunge. Unravel, pivot body towards the old left side of the mat, finding a wide-legged forward fold. Allow upper body to hang heavy. And we'll move towards scandasana at the back of the mat, bending into left knee, straighten through right leg. Maybe using help of hands or skipping the hands. Shift towards scandasana on the right side, bending into right knee and straightening through left leg. And one more time, shifting back towards scandasana on the left side, bending into left knee and straightening through right leg. We'll pivot towards the back of our mat, plant right hand, shift left toes towards the back of the room, and extend left hand towards sky. Option to drop hips and spin to outside of feet for horizon pose. Left arm extends long behind you. And shift back towards the back of your mat. And find pyramid pose, maybe lifting left toes from the mat. Return left toes if they've lifted. Shift weight onto left leg and press off the back right toes, finding a forward fold at the now top of your mat. Inhale, roll up the spine one vertebrae at a time, extending arms high overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, hands come to shins. Exhale, plant into hands, either plank pose, crow pose, make your way through your vinyasa. Maybe knees come to back of triceps and feet lift from the mat. Option to hop back and bend into elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, peel the heart open, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, down dog. Same sequence, left side, and then we'll cool things down for today. Inhale, sweep left toes high towards sky. Exhale, left knee into left elbow. Inhale, left toes high. Exhale, left knee into nose. Inhale, left toes high. Exhale, left knee into right elbow. Inhale, left toes high. And exhale, left knee into left elbow. Step left foot outside of left hand, lizard pose. Settle into the hips. And take a deep inhale. And exhale, maybe driving right glutes towards sky. And one big step, or many little ones, we'll move towards side plank, shifting to outside of right foot. Stack left foot on top of right, and extend left arm towards sky. Inhale, come back towards twisted lunge. Left foot plants at top of mat. Left arm stays extended towards sky. And on your next exhale, place weight into left foot and step off back right toes, coming towards a twisted chair. Right elbow comes to outside of left knee. Option and settle back into the hips. Option to find a side crow or stay in your twisted chair. So if you're moving into side crow, hands plant off to left side of mat. Left hip comes to left elbow and knees stack on top of right tricep. Maybe lifting toes from mat. Return toes to mat if they've left, and you make your way back towards a twisted chair. Right elbow comes to left knee. And moving slowly back towards your twisted lunge. Right leg makes its way to back of mat. And one more breath here before we unravel the twist and make our way towards a wide-legged forward fold. Using this as a moment to catch your breath if you've lost it. Eventually bending into right knee, finding scandasana on the right side, straightening through left leg. Help of hands or without. Shift towards back of mat, bending into left knee and straightening through the right leg. And one more time, shifting back towards scandasana on the right side, bending into right knee and straightening through left leg. We'll make our way towards our twisted lunge. Plant left hand and pivot right toes towards top of mat. Extend right arm open towards sky. Option to stay here or shift to outside of the feet and drop hips towards mat. Horizon pose. Right arm extends towards back of the room. Lift hips up and shift towards the top of the mat, finding pyramid pose. Straightening through right leg, maybe lifting right toes from mat. Return right toes if they've lifted. Press into right foot and lift off left foot, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Arms extend high overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, hands come to shins. Exhale, plant into hands. Your vinyasa, finding a plank pose or crow. Maybe knees come to back of triceps and toes lift from mat. Maybe hopping back into chaturanga, bending into elbows. Inhale, peel the heart open, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, down dog. And we'll start to cool things down. So bend into knees and make your way towards a child's pose. Come to seated on the shins, knees are wide, toes are together, and arms extend long in front of you. And allow breath to return to its regular rhythm. Walk hands back in towards body, lifting body up, coming out of your child's pose. Cross over ankles and make your way onto your back body. Maybe finding a comfortable shape on the mat or place on the mat. We'll find a bridge pose. Bring ankles so that they graze fingertips. And set up for bridge. Press into feet to lift hips from mat. And draw knees in towards center line. Maybe finding an interlace of the hands if that's available to you. Gently release interlace of the hands if you have it. And slowly release the spine back to mat, one vertebrae at a time. And when you've arrived, maybe drawing arms out to a T or a cactus and dropping knees off towards right side, finding an easy twist. An option to bring gaze over left shoulder if that's available. Gently unwind the twist, bringing gaze back into center and knees back into center. Slowly shifting knees off to left side of the mat and drawing gaze over right shoulder. Bring gaze back into center and knees back in. Shifting so you're comfortable on the mat. Maybe bring knees into your chest and give yourself a big hug. And tight squeeze, drawing head in towards knees. And taking a deep inhale and exhale. Let it go, releasing into Shavasana. And maybe noticing how the body feels after the strengthening movement today. And settling in, releasing the practice today. And I'll leave you here for today. I encourage you and invite you to stay longer if you have the time and space for it. And I thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I look forward to practicing together again soon. Thank you.